Queues for LPG cylinders, lines at petrol pumps, flight fares up 10%, factories shutting down, medical tourism down 40%, workers returning from the Gulf. The Iran war is no longer distant, it's hitting home. Not just India, but almost every country. How are we to cope, and how are some East Asian countries dealing with the crisis? This is Quick Take, your quick guide. I'm Smita Prakash. First, the fuel bill. India imports nearly 85% of its crude oil, much of it from West Asia. Prices have already surged close to 30%. For now, there's no immediate price hike, but if the conflict drags on, petrol, diesel, and LPG will get costlier, and that hits each of us directly, our monthly budget. Second, costlier travel. Airlines run on aviation fuel. When oil prices rise, tickets follow. Flight fares are already up by over 10% on some routes. Whether it's a holiday or an emergency, travel is getting more expensive. Third, tourism slowdown. Fewer tourists are coming in. Many are cancelling trips. Medical tourism has dropped sharply by nearly 40%. Hotel bookings are down 10 to 12%. That means fewer jobs, less income, and slower local economies. Fourth, jobs and remittances under stress. Over 50,000 Indians have already returned from the Gulf. That means less money flowing back home and more pressure on jobs within India. Industrial hubs are already feeling it. In Morbi, Gujarat, Indian ceramic capital, hundreds of units have shut down due to gas shortages. No gas, no production, no income. Fifth, everything gets expensive. Fuel drives transport, transport drives prices. From vegetables to milk, clothes to construction, everything becomes costlier. Even farming is hit. Fertilizers and irrigation depend heavily on energy. Global firms like Goldman Sachs have cut India's growth forecast from 7% to 5.9% for 2026. Over 40 lakh crore rupees has been wiped out from Indian markets since the war began. India is holding for now. But if the war drags on, the pressure won't just be economic, it will be political. Because inflation doesn't just hit wallets, it shapes how people vote. So what can India do? The government has a few options on the table. 1. Diversify oil sources. India is already buying more from Russia and the US to reduce dependence on West Asia. 2. Tap strategic reserves. India can release oil from its emergency reserves to stabilize prices temporarily. 3. Subsidy buffers. The government may increase LPG or fuel subsidies to shield households. 4. Secure diaspora and remittances. Evacuation plans, job support and diplomatic engagements with Gulf countries will be critical. 5. Push renewables faster. Crises like this can accelerate India's solar and green hydrogen push to reduce oil dependence long term. What East Asia is doing and what India can learn. Countries in East Asia have faced similar shocks before and are responding fast. Japan maintains one of the world's largest strategic oil reserves, has long-term LNG contracts to avoid price shocks, actively promotes energy conservation during crises. South Korea, it cuts fuel taxes quickly to control inflation, supports industries with energy subsidies, keeps diversified energy import routes. What does Singapore do? Acts as global oil trading hub, maintains strong reserves and supply chains, invests heavily in public transport to reduce fuel demand. In conclusion, the Iran war is a reminder India's biggest vulnerability is energy dependence. What we can do in the short term is manage prices, protect jobs. In the long term, reduce reliance on imported oil.